I'm continuing on with my payroll problem here. I have already put in my employees, and on this first line here I've put everything up until their gross earnings, and I put in the current earnings that they've made this year so far. And now I need to continue on with the second part of this form here. Now, these first 4 employees, I'm just going to have 4 lines down here for each of them here. So continuing on, first of all, I need to do the taxable earnings. Now, again, what I've done up here when I'm figuring the pay that they've made, I have the hours they've worked, and I multiply that times the rate. And when I'm figuring tax, I'm going to have the total amount that I'm going to multiply times the tax rate for most of these things here. So now that doesn't include federal income tax, because that's figured a bit differently, but I'll show you that in a little while here. But first, let's look at this problem here once more. FICA OASDI is 6.2% of the first 1,600, 800, or $1,000, and this amount here, $106,000 and $800. That's the first amount that I pull from. Now, Medicare is on everything, all earnings, and there's also some other deductions as well. So, for taxable earnings, I have for all of these here, when I look at these values, these are all, like this one here, the first 2 and the last one are all well below this value here, but this amount here for Jacob Jackson is getting pretty close to it. So that's the one that I'm going to have to watch out for here as well. And it looks like that one is actually going to be below that value as well. However, if I cross this line here, then this value here would be a little bit lower than the gross earnings would be. It'd be a little bit lower. So go ahead and put that in. And it looks like for all of these, it's going to be the same. So this one here will be 622.50, 473, and then for this one, 161.50. For this one, it'll be 324. Now, say that I'll do that one in a separate video. Say I'll do a separate video where I am showing what it would be like if this were a little bit higher, and if this were going across that line, this number right here. We'll do that in a separate video, but for now I'm just going to go ahead and figure it. And for Medicare, since it's on all earnings, it's going to be actually exactly the same there. Let's see. My program there just died for just a minute, but as I was saying, this is all the same. Copy this here. This is all the same, but it might be different if we cross a certain threshold. And for the FUTA and the SUTA rate is 5.4 and FUTA rate is 0.8% on earnings up to $7,000. And again, we have to look here. All of these numbers are well over $7,000. We paid our unemployment tax a long time ago for this company right here. This is the, and this, by the way, is State Unemployment Tax Act. That's what SUTA stands for, and FUTA stands for Federal Unemployment Tax Act. So we played that a long time ago, and I'll show you how to do that again in a separate video if it were a lot more or less than that. So these are all going to be 0. So now I have my taxable earnings. And I think I'll stop now and do those other videos, and then we'll come back to this video.